Episode 200 of the Too Thick Pod. That's a legitimate 200. Your home for all things sports, cards, and levity. I am your co-host. Manny's going to be the host today. I am your co-host, the one, the only, the sad, the lonely, reckless cards, Jeremy. Good evening. How are you, Mr. Host?
What's up? You say I'm the host. I think we lost like 10 viewers right there just by saying I'm the host. So
we are now at -10.
Yeah, now we're at -10. Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to Too Thick Pod for all your sports card levity. See, I'm already doing the intro for you too.
Nice.
We got meat sticks and tummy sweats on the ones and twos. I hope as you're listening, we already dropped the Mind of Sticks Part 3. So go take a listen because it's actually a good. He reviews. Papa Boomer is actually sharing his screen half the time, and I was impressed. So if I'm impressed, you guys should go watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, you just have to cut out the 18 minutes of me like, son of a bitch. Why won't this work? Damn it. I even prepped a little bit to make sure it was working. And of course, when it was time to execute and perform on the big stage under the lights, I dropped the ball. But being the savvy veteran of the podcast game that I am, I continued to keep my head down and grind and persevere and push through, ultimately yielding the result of a mediocre podcast that 7 people will listen to. Thank you, Aunt, Uncle, Mom, Courtney, and 3 kids and 2 dogs.
Yep. No, the best part of that video was like you're like, hey, can you take a quick listen to that and tell me what you think? I turned it on and it was 30 minutes. I was like, Jeremy talked for 30 minutes by himself. I'm really impressed now.
Easy. So. Here, I usually throw it to you guys, like you and Court, as like a barometer. And I was like, hey, can you guys like listen to this? And then like 8 hours went by and nobody responded to me. And I'm like, oh, well, that was a dumpster fire. And then I talked to Court and she's like, yeah, you were like a little over the top, like separating yourself from the fact that you're not pumping and shilling. Probably didn't have to go to that extreme. And I was like, my counterpoint to that is because I wanted to be open and accepting of all criticism, because I think that's a superpower if you're able to take criticism and learn from it. I didn't want to be dismissive of what she was saying. My thought was, I went out and did something that's a little different for the Too Thick Pod community, and I wanted to make sure that you and I, more so you, didn't get lumped into somebody trying to pump something or sell something. So I was like, you have to listen to 10 minutes of disclaimers.
Oh yeah, and like when you talk about it, well, I say it right now. It's Ryan's cards Discord. You have it. I don't. I'm actually friends with Ryan, and I don't have it. It's just not my type of cards that I'm buying and selling. So, I mean, we could push it that way. He's my friend. He doesn't really talk to you, so there's no pumping or dumping. And if it was reverse, where I'm talking about the Discord and he's my friend, and you have nothing, like you're not in it, but it's kind of like a mix.
Well, we had messages in the Too Thick Pod, and for everybody that listens, because there's a lot of people that legitimately listen and they try to they help us out by tagging themselves listening to it, or they shoot us messages and share what's going on. I've been apologizing lately for just being a little slow to respond. I promise you that Manuel and myself love it. It means the world to us. We're just 2 scatterbrained people who have careers outside of the hobby, wives and kids. And so you'll see, we kind of just operate in waves. Like you have an hour where it's all things. You might see us post 57 things. Over the weekend, I filmed or recorded a ton of content for Too Thick. Now it's a matter of posting it. And honestly, if Courtney's not there to put a boot in my ass or do it for me, sometimes it goes by the wayside. So we did a bunch of Too Thick taste tests. I did one with Kaya Bear because she saw y'all doing it, and so she wanted to get on it. And so since we're a family-friendly program, I thought, why not, little Kaya Bear? Why don't you get in here and do a little taste test? And then, of course, Lala saw it, so she had to get in. But for everybody that shoots us messages, thank you. But one thing that was consistent is people had been asking us about it, just like they ask us about our ComC experience and some of the things like TCG that we chat about. And so I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I should just share the way I use it. I know the way Courtney and I operate is a little bit different than most, but there might be some value for somebody out there.
For sure. And I would consider you more advanced in the hobby and me being, I would say I'm like, I know more than probably 80% of the people in the hobby. You would probably know like more than like 95, I would say, as like the stuff to buy, what to do with these companies. Cause there's a lot of new people coming in the hobby that can't tell the difference between what product to buy. So with you experience, like showing your experience, is it could be helping a ton. And I know there is because there's people that reach out that are my friends. They're like, thanks. I didn't even know what PSA meant. So well, on that aspect, we kind of think that everyone already knows, but you
Yeah,
know,
you know what? We experienced that firsthand, and that's why we started doing the show recaps. Is because you go to a show and like you know you're on Instagram, and you think this is the vibe of the hobby. You go to a show, and 90% of the people have no idea what the hell you're talking about. They're
yep.
not negative. They're having a good time. Things are alive. People are moving cards. I think that's one thing that I want to stress is for you and I, the importance of us. What's important to us is having fun.
Yes.
Neither of us are profiting off of this. We're not paying any bills with this. We're not sponsored by anybody. Again, I'm about ready to sell out. I've sold that. I've said that for many a times now. Like, you know, just throwing it out there. If somebody wants to throw me a bag and it makes sense, I might pump something as long as it's not going to hurt people. But it has to be fun. And losing money or having bad experiences aren't fun. So if, you know, us sharing what's going on for us, what's good, bad, and ugly, and it helps somebody, you know, get a win here and there, or make a little money, or avoid doing some of the dumb things you and I have done. That's
Mhm.
fun.
Yes. Yeah, you could learn through me of what not to buy. That's what I keep saying. So I'll take the L's for the community.
Stacking L's for the
Exactly.
community.
um, what was I? Oh, I had something in my mind that I wanted to bring up. I know we'll get to this because I do want to talk about this because I know you've used this product. This isn't another sponsor, like you said. We're not sponsored by anybody but Veriswap. You were like the first person that kind of promoted Veriswap, and we brought about like talked about this. They should be giving you kickback. But yeah, there was an update today that I found interesting. They are switching. Remember how we were complaining about the 3% fees, and you were like, you weren't so much complaining about it. It was more me and Courtney about the price of like the 3%. That's crazy on each transaction. We were like, we would rather have a monthly fee. Well, under 10K, they lowered it to 1.5 or 2.5 or something like that.
1.5, yeah.
1.5. And then over 10K went up to, do you know off the top of your head?
I don't.
I think it was 1.75 or something like that. Let
I
me
think it drops to like 1.25 at
two
that
five,
point.
2.5, 2.5. Yep. Yeah, 1.25. So 1.5, anything under 10K as your value, anything over 10K is the 1.25. So that's a lot of money if you think about it.
Yeah, it really is. One of the things that prevented me from doing certain deals was that if it was like a lateral move,
Mhm.
3%, like you have to have that upside in the deal. Otherwise, unless it's a PC item, you're losing because you're
Yep.
paying that money out of pocket. Now, I will say for Veriswap, I feel like Ray owes me a couple bucks because if you go back to the Hobby Night School and we were one of his first interviews, and I already had like I feel like a wealth of experience on the app, and I talked about how I use it because I think I use it in a great way. Like I use it for price discovery. I use it for cards that I have massive upside on that people is
Mhm.
willing to give me the number that I want. I use it for cards that are stuck that I can't move in my area. Like I went into like really good detail, like you know how it works for me, but the 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 fees were restricting because you have to be mindful of cash. I mean, you can't just sit there and flip cards if you're not making some money somewhere that just keeps hitting the credit card or your bank account or whatever you have it linked to.
Yep. And I'll be a test of like how early we were on Veriswap because we were so early that we would put when you post a card, it showed up on the main feed. And I would post a card, and Jeremy would see it like 3 hours later, and it was still on the main feed. And this McAsshole would give me the worst trade ever. I want your $1,000 card for a bag of chips, pretty much. And I was at a point where I was sending them to Jeremy, and I was like, why are people doing this? I'm off this app. And I look and it's just Jeremy. I realized it was Jeremy sending me these offers because I did it. I looked at it right when I was next to him and he's just giggling. So I knew it. I figured out it was Jeremy. But that's how like we were one of the first people on the apps because it took 3 hours for mine to even get off the main feed.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if it will change the way I operate because you still have to be for us, you still have to be mindful of money, but 1.5% when you're doing, deals that are like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $10,000, that adds up, especially if you're doing trades in volume.
Mhm.
So again, I know that some people just absolutely hate the idea of paying for somebody to be a middleman. For me, we pay for convenience. It gives me peace of mind. And being introverted, you're very much an outgoing person. People, based on listening to the podcast or like when they see me, it's loud, it's stuff like that. But I have moments where I completely don't want to talk to anybody or can't talk to anybody. And Veriswap's a great way to still be active in the space. And outside of like maybe some messaging here and there, you don't have to interface. You don't know who you're dealing with. And, so sometimes it makes it a good way to participate if you're not feeling like talking to people.
I do like that aspect. It's weird. It's like you're talking to an AI. You don't know where these cards are coming from, but they just come. Like you a computer says yes or no, and then you just get the cards. That's what I felt like when I was on it.
So can I tell you something? And I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever said this out loud or shared this, and I'm sure there's other people that feel the same way. I would say about 3/4 of the people who post their cards, I know who they are, or at least I know what their Instagram is, or what their eBay is, or what their Discord server name is.
Yep.
So if you're paying attention, you can kind of get an idea. So like I know if a guy can't move a card in Discord for like, 2K and he's desperate, like trying to get it, but then on Veriswap it says something different. Like if you're paying attention, you can kind of key in. And like if you take it a step further, if you're using TerraPeak with eBay, you can kind of see what kind of offers they're actually getting, and you can get next level with this ish. So, paying attention is fun and is
Yep.
cool for some people.
Yeah, you're like detective sticks over there, pretty much.
A little bit.
I do have one thing I do want to say. I know the Veriswap percentage is great, right? But I did see a comment saying something about the shipping, and I know you just shipped a card. It seems like they increased shipping. I guess you could go in a little bit more detail on what they did, but I don't know. I know you've done
Yeah,
a
I've
trade.
done I've done like 15 to 20 deals, probably closer to 20. I don't know the number offhand, but I didn't even think of it until you said something. But when I shipped a card on Monday, I had to actually go to the post office box and get a small priority box. And you know how we ship cards. We do the team bag, business card, packing slip in the cardboard, wrapped in bubble wrap, in a bubble mailer with tracking. The one thing that I know Veriswap always required for their insurance to cover your card was adult signature required.
Yep.
So, like, usually that was like maybe 6, 7, $8 to ship it. But this time, after you mentioned, I went back and I looked, and our shipping was $11 through, flat rate. And so I have to go in and do a little investigative work to see what's going on there. That would not be a good look, in my opinion, if that's what they did. If you say, hey, you're going to save money over here, but you're actually just taxing on the back end, that's the equivalent of like an eBay guy saying, like, hey, $4.50 for bubble mailer with tracking, then turning around and shipping it in a plain white envelope. Like,
Yep.
that's not cool. Just be upfront and honest. Whatever the numbers are, the numbers are.
Yeah, and then I guess they responded to that comment and said that they're working on it. So I'm assuming that the shipping did go up. They're trying to work on something better aspect for shipping. So hey, if they're looking into it, but yes, if they up the shipping because they lowered the percentage, which we don't know, that's kind of shitty.
That's like when you're in Vegas and they claim to have like great pricing. Like
Mhm.
something's only $10, but you read the fine print at the bottom of the menu and it's like there's a concession fee of like 4.95%. Like
Yeah.
just be upfront and honest.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that's the one thing I personally would never do, and again, I'm not saying they did. I don't know that to be true. This is
Yeah.
just we're having a very honest conversation, is I think in the hobby, like, you're better off just being transparent and honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I
No,
appreciate them coming out and saying, "Hey, the volume's there. We can reduce pricing." I'll tell you one thing that they have to do better at is getting cards out. It is a I ship, like, either if it's the same business day or the very next morning business day, and the last card I had was, like, it took, like, almost 3 weeks for the card to get to me.
you think that's on the other user or them
Yeah, potentially, but I mean, they should hold people accountable.
accountable? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is big boy business if you commit to something. Like, I know Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're gonna be in Shipshewana or at some portion of that time. I'm not gonna be local to a post office. So you know what I won't be doing? Is selling cards. And if for some reason I do sell a card,
Mm-hmm.
people are gonna know, hey, this won't be going out until Tuesday morning because Monday's the holiday.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, what I was thinking as you're saying that is having maybe making them more reliable. Once one of the user's card comes in hand, you get 2 days or whatever, right, to show tracking. If you don't show tracking, you pay a fee and the trade's done because you have to have that person accountable because once if they're just like I'm not doing it and then you already shipped your card, like it has to be a fee for both
So,
parties.
like, I've been negotiating with a guy all day on a potentially pretty big deal, and my fear, well, it's not even a fear. Like, I know that if I do this deal, it has to make sense because I know that those cards are gonna be gone for multiple weeks.
Yep.
And so I'm weighing, do I keep the cards? And they're like incredibly, let's say mid to high end liquid cards. So between like, let's just say like $3,000 cards that will move. I get offers all the time. I'd prefer trade because I like the upside of the additional value coming back. But I've got some grading. I've bought a lot of cards and cash is king.
Yep.
Do I hang on to it and just get the cash this weekend? And so if I knew that the process of shipping it there a few days and getting my cards back in a few days, it makes it easy to go with the trade. But if I know it's going to be 2, 3, 4 weeks, then I consider selling. And so I hope that there's a way that they can make that process a little bit quicker.
For sure. And I know it's not the only app. I was listening to the Cousins collectibles, and they had Irish the commission, and he was talking about ComC, and I'm this is why I'm bringing it up because we talked about ComC, but me and you have never bought on ComC. Supposedly, it took him 30 days to get his cards when he asked for them to be shipped. I guess he was like I think 4,000 orders in front of him because you got to realize how many people are buying off that site and asking for cards. So, ComC, we've told you guys to sell. If you are buying and want your cards, make sure you have some leeway if you want them back at a certain time frame.
Yeah, I remember at one point, like during COVID, when like PSA shut down and people were complaining about ComC. I remember that just being a nightmare, like multiple months to get
Mhm.
your cards. But at that time, I wasn't interested. I really
Yeah.
didn't know what ComC was. And so I was just like, whatever, it doesn't apply to me. I will tell you, I won a few auctions last Sunday night on the PWCC weekly auction. I
Mhm.
paid for my order first thing Monday morning. So I pay and I ship it to my vault. It like this is just stupid. So it's
Yeah.
like you pay for it and then immediately go to your vault and pay for it to be shipped home. So you avoid paying the sales tax.
Taxes. Yeah.
I just got the order this morning that my my request has been fulfilled. So
Mhm.
that's like essentially today's Tuesday, 8 days for them
Yeah.
to get it. And then so they printed the shipping label, but guess what? I've got informed delivery with USPS and it just says shipping label printed. The package isn't there. And part of the reason I bought stuff was to have it for Ship Shawana.
Yep.
And so I do think that when one of these bigger guys figure out how to get your cards quicker, they're going to be better off because sometimes I want to buy on PWCC, but like if they can't get it to me, then like what the hell's the point?
Yeah. I have a question with PWCC with that. Do you think that they should be paying for the shipping label? I feel like a auction house that big should be paying for shipping. We because I know when I bought stuff, you have to pay for them to ship it to you. How do you feel about that?
I mean,
I know it's only a couple bucks, I guess, but when you're that big, what is that to them? You got a customer buying off your thing.
Eh,
You're actually a customer that pays on that site.
I mean,
How do you feel about that? I don't
they used
know.
to ship. I think they used to ship FedEx too, and this is coming USPS.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
Right.
Again, I'm not playing in that place where the cards are super big, but I would like to get my cards quickly. That's
I
all.
could see like, 10,000 plus cards paying for shipping, but when you're like cards are less than $100, say you buy a card that's like 40 or $50 and you got to pay $10 to ship it to you.
I swear my shipping my shipping's always been like 15 bucks or like
Yes,
13 something.
exactly. Like I thought it was a little like a little bit high.
I'll tell you what it was. I think it was like
I
13.
just thought like with the buyer's premium, it's kind of covered.
Yeah, but you know what? That buyer's premium is already like that money's already chopped up. They're not taking that 20%.
Okay. I was just
So
curious.
so I'll have something I'm gonna share with you. I tried it. It's like the first go round, but TNT,
Hmm.
who you and I grade with, that's local to Michigan, who's a platinum PSA dealer, has this deal worked out, and I hope that I'm allowed to speak about it. Like they
Yeah, you're
anyway, you can
careful.
submit cards for grading. Obviously, TNT does the review, and they go directly. They guarantee within 20 days they get graded, and then they go on to Golden's weekly auction. No money out of pocket, and then you, based on what they sell for, the grading fees are taken out of that.
Hmm.
Now, the cool thing that they were able to do is I'm able to get 105% of the sale price.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So if it sells for $100, I'm actually getting 105
Minus the grading fees.
minus the grading fees. But you know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
Golden isn't actually sitting on that 20%. You
Yep.
know, they're probably realistically only getting 10 to 15%. I'm sure. I would imagine TNT gets a little bit like
Oh yeah.
maybe 2.5 to 5%, and then Golden, like that's how they make their money is on that 10%.
Yeah, but if they're I mean, for the cards that we're dealing with, like, they deal with $1,000,000 cards, like I said, like, the ones that are, like, cheaper, why not just pay for shipping for them?
So I'm hopeful that this will work because I took all of these new Pokemon releases, these ones that I bought from Bronomath,
Yep.
and it was I don't wanna say scary, but when you're talking about grading 40, 50 cards, let's just use 20 bucks. That's like $1,000 out of pocket, and I'm not you, I don't have Manny
No, no,
money,
no.
you know what I mean? I don't have
That
that
put me in a hole.
Monopoly Manny funny money.
Nope,
So,
that put me in a
this is
hole.
a great way to take cards that were good for grading and potentially now there's a couple fears. 1, they don't grade well, and then I get absolutely slaughtered. 2, I know that Golden likes to be like, "We're big and bad and blah, blah, blah." I'm interested to see how these cards turn out because if they can even be remotely close to eBay and these cards grade well, this might be a great opportunity for, like, let's say you when you're like you wanna hold on to your cash, but you still wanna play. Guess
Mhm.
what? Pay for the cards, not paying for grading, and, let them do all the work.
Yep.
So, I have a conspiracy theory. Do you think that the hobby is on the up and up and everything's kosher and 100% honest, or do you think there's some tomfoolery?
Yes.
I think most people understand that there's some fuckery afoot.
Yes, I like that better.
Okay. Now, wouldn't it behoove PSA to give cards that are going directly into their auction house better
Yeah.
grades or
Yeah.
be a little more lenient, maybe? And I'm not saying that's the case, but we've all seen cards that don't deserve the grade that they have. But I mean, if this is going into their own auction house,
Yeah.
so I am pro like, come on. Now, to be clear, these were all probably cards that Brandon would have submitted to gotten black labels on anyway, so it doesn't matter. A PSA 10 should be a walk in the park. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of fascinating. The fact that we even have to think like that kind of speaks to the space that we're playing in.
Yeah. That's like, I saw a post that said, what's a scam that in the hobby, but like we all just let it happen? And the comments on those are crazy, like redemptions, stuff like that. And it was like, man, there's a ton of things that you don't think about. Like sticker autos was another, um, non-game used relics.
Grading's always been the wildest thing to me, like, I
Grading.
can't comprehend. If you go to a restaurant
Yeah.
and you have to wait too long for your food, they give it to you for free.
Yep.
There was one point where I was told I was gonna get my cards in 20 business days. I waited a year and a half. Like,
I'm
that's
not,
not even remotely close. I didn't get a discount. I didn't get a coupon. I didn't have a manager come kiss my ass and say sorry. You know
no,
what they did? They said, "Fuck you. You're gonna take it on the chin, and guess what? You'll still submit more cards." And
that
we
is
all do.
that is crazy. Like to think about how many people lost money because they waited like 2 years to get their cards back.
Dude, and my dumbass, we had submitted, like, an unhealthy amount of Kobe White cards. Like, to put in perspective, I was selling Kobe White kabooms at, like, damn near $1,000 for PSA 9s.
Yep.
And so I had submitted, like, I don't know, like 100 cards.
Yeah.
And at one point, like, his base prism was, like, up to, like, 150, $200.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I was counting that money. I was like, "Man, I'm gonna quit my job. All I'm gonna do is" I was legitimately thinking, I'm like, "If it's this easy,
Yep.
game over.
Yep.
Game over. Miss me with that correction shit. I am just gonna go buy and grade everything."
Yeah. Dude, and it killed a bunch of people. Hey, I got a question. What's going to kill another bunch of people, by the way? But I
Yes, sir.
avoided it. I avoided it. It's in the production world. This is called a segue. I avoided an L, um, because I think that this is going to. A lot of people are going to take big old L's about this MVP buyback because the first year was great. Everyone was making money because what you do is you get your MVPs, base cards, or any type of card on Tops cards, Tops Chrome.
Explain what the actual program is, and
Yeah.
then let people know what you were planning on doing and now
Okay.
what you're actually doing.
Okay. Let me pull it up. So Tops buyback, like I said, there's an NL and AL MVP, right? Let me present my screen. You buy the cards, or when you hit it, it gives an opportunity for you to get store credit at card shops. So you could collect, redeem, repeat, right? So how it works: buy 2023 Topps Chrome and collect MVP candidates. Kicker: you don't know who the MVP candidates are. Once the MVPs are announced in November, bring those to your local card shops. Exchange the AL and NL MVP for store credit. Now here's the prices. So for base cards, you get 20 bucks, refractors 40, numbered that are greater than 100, $100, and numbered less than 100, 200. So it gives an opportunity. If you're ripping this wax, you could sell the base cards, say Shohei Ohtani, for a certain price instead of having them be, you know, 50 to a dollar if it was normal, right? Well, I avoided a loss because Acuna last month, when this came out, was the MVP favorite, heavy favorite. And I was telling Jeremy off screen that, hey, I'm going to start buying these MVP buybacks because you saw the pricing. If I could collect a huge stack and send them to a card store, you get some money for credit and maybe potentially get a bigger card, trading up. I'm glad I didn't because a lot of people bought Acuna's heavy.
Can you go back to that, like, the pricing that you get for each card?
Yes.
So, I'm looking at it right now, and I how is there a limit on how many cards you can submit or you can bring to your LCS?
I don't think so. See, it says just bring it. Um, I I don't think there's a limit.
Oh, what will I receive in exchange for my cards? Can I get cash? Can you click on that?
When you bring your cards in the card chart, you receive store credit. So yeah, you do get store credit
Okay.
for it. I'm a hobbyist.
Oh, is there a limit?
While there isn't a limit, each hobby shop will have the discretion. So yeah, you don't have a limit, but depending on the hobby shop.
Because I'm looking, like, right now, the last couple base Shohei Chrome cards have gone for $13 at auction,
Yep.
11.99 fixed price, 8.59 at auction.
Hmm.
I mean, like, you could, like, legitimately, if you were about that life, let's 13 and 12 is 25 plus 9. 25 plus 9 is 34. 34 divided by 3 is like 11.33. So let's just round up to 12 bucks. You're making like 8 bucks. Now, what's not included in there is shipping, blah, 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 blah. But you might be onto something. And the refractor just went for 24.99, which is 40, which is a
Yes.
$15 pickup. In theory, if you can go, because there's people who I've never done the buyback, and quite frankly, I don't think I ever truly understood it as much as I do now. I'm sure you could go to a show and pick these up for 3, 4, $5 a piece. My fear would be you dump a couple $100 into it, you go to like some old podunk LCS, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll give you one,
Well,
or
the
we'll
kick,
give you
no,
two."
the kicker is like, it looks right here. You have to, you basically are, you have to be a top shot.
Yeah,
So in Michigan, I don't know who actually
I think
qualifies.
less up in Birch Run. I believe he is considered a top shot. He's
Okay.
got like the whole area dedicated tops cards.
Yeah, so you have to find that. But what's cool, I don't know. The thing that I was talking about that I almost lost though is people, you can look it up right now. Acuna's were going for that same price as Shohei. And to buy a base card of Acuna at 10 bucks a pop, 11 bucks a pop, because he was the heavy favorite last month and Mookie Betts wasn't. Now all these guys are holding on to Acuna's. They could have spent tons of money on Acuna. And now Mookie Betts, if you were buying Mookie Betts, probably at that $5 range, you just made a killing.
Sure.
So, um, yes, it is a gamble because you don't really know who the MVPs are going to be. You kind of figure you could go. What I did was went to Vegas odds, um, and looked at the favorites, and Shohei's a heavy favorite.
Yep.
I think he's going to win the MVP, so that's kind of a sure get. But if you like the gambling side, you're either buying Acuna or Betts to do this.
I still like, why not? Like, why not take like $100 and see if you can turn 100 into like 150 for
Yes, but
Shohei?
what's the best? I guess I like your idea about card shows, but I wouldn't buy them online because people are no like they want their top dollar for these cards because they know what you're going to get from them at card shows. I feel like they're easier to buy.
Yeah, probably.
Is that Butters?
That is.
Butters.
Butters, come here, dude. Come on.
He's like, lift me up.
I know. He's like, you're recording something important, so I need to be heard.
Yeah. So, but that was kind of I avoid the loss because I almost bought heavy in Acuna because Shohei's were going a little bit more at the time because he was a sure thing. So I was like, okay, let me get Acuna's. And I'm glad I didn't.
Hey man, sometimes the best deals you make are the ones that you don't make.
Yes. So I wanted to bring it out there because there's people listening that probably don't even know what the buyback is. So I wanted
Hey,
to bring it
I'm
up.
sure, I'm sure, like, I'm sure there's people that are feeling some sort of way with their Panini redemptions because that's a game too. You buy the redemptions hoping they don't fulfill them, so you can get the white box and black box one of ones.
Yep, it's kind of the same program. Yeah, the Topps program. I like the MVP buyback because it gives you an opportunity if you're ripping
Yep.
to get some of your cash back. If you pull one of these cards, you know what I mean?
All right. So like the 2023 Topps Chrome Shohei base number 17
Yep.
is at auction right now with 3 minutes left, and it's at $12.
Yeah, I've seen them go for like 18. I'm like, what's the point at that point?
Yeah.
Just go spend 20 bucks at your card show
With $5 shipping and handling. So that's 17 bucks to
plus
make
tax.
yeah. So for this one, that would not be it. Now, what I would look is if I was on eBay, I would filter it by new listings
Yep.
and try to take advantage of somebody who posts it that doesn't know any better. Because quite frankly, if I had this card, I wouldn't even be thinking buyback, and I would go into ComC, and I'm sure somebody's already done that because those people that are on ComC are
They're,
savage. I mean this in the most complimentary way. They are absolute savages.
mm-hmm.
Like I know the moment you get the email from ComC that you have new cards, up there and you put your pricing in and hit go live, I know that's where I'm gonna have the most flurry of activity because that's one of the like the ComC hardcore guys. They wait for the new listings and get everything.
Yeah, that like we said in the last podcast, the most you sell is right off the bat, right
Yep.
when you price them. But yeah, so yeah, look at the MVP buybacks. Maybe if you go into local card shows, you could get good deals on them. So, like I said, Mookie Betts and Shohei are the two favorites, but Acuna, he just broke a record. He might. It's between Acuna and Betts
Have
right
you
now.
seen
Betts,
Acuna's splits?
yeah,
They're like damn near identical for like home runs,
yep,
stolen bases at home and on the road. It's wild.
yes, he's a beast. So I'm curious now that Betts is the favorite. I wonder if Acuna cards dip and you could buy Acuna cards, and it's just a game. But hey, you could get some. You can actually double your money. You like Jeremy says, you spend like $200 on base cards to flip them at tops for 400 and get a $400 card. Then you go sell it, or you could even be if you're more savvy, you go 400, get a $500 card that's worth 400 at the card show and get 500 back.
Yep.
So
It's you know, you could be a calculated gamble that can work out for you. And like I would be like, if you can pick them up at a card show for like 5, $10 and you have disposable income, I definitely would. If the margins are smaller and you're uncertain, like nothing would suck to spend like $100 on base
yeah,
Acuna cards for bets to win or on bets and then Acuna wins. So just be careful out there. Be careful with your money.
it's kind of a cool program for like kids, like Steven, for example. If you had him sent out to go look for these cards and see pricing and have him do it, and then just take him to the store since he's starting to get into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you remember, speaking of King Steve, do you remember the card that he bought?
The Joker.
Not the Joker.
What else did he bought a Dame, didn't he? No.
No. So he went and then like I told him I would walk the show and you were
Yeah, I
gracious
remember
enough
that.
to watch the table. We went, it was the last card he picked up. It was still sealed from Panini. It was like a 2016, 2017, or 2017, 2018. Kristaps Porzingis
Yes, yes.
Noir
Yep.
patch auto.
Jersey number.
He just got the email from TNT at 10:10, and I have
Oh, wow.
never seen like it was like one of those things, not quite like card porn of like the kid pulling like the Trout
Yeah.
auto, but for him
Yes.
to be
That's
patient,
it.
because remember, he just wants to buy every single card that comes his way, to be patient, to walk the show, to look at every table, to be bored out of his mind because dad's talking with everybody and making him conversate. He just got that. Like, I saw it and I said, "Come here." And I thought for sure it was going to 9-10. Shows
Mhm.
what I know. I thought for sure it was going to 9-10. And he got the 10-10 from SGC. So he was like pumping his fist, like, yes, yes. What do you think? Is that a $100 card? Is that a $75 card? I'm
He's
like, good for you, man. Good for you.
now have him go to Shipshewana, or hopefully you get it by then and have him sell it there and
Yep.
then build on
So
that.
I thought it was cool because you were there and
Yeah,
we
that's
were
cool.
talking about that, and so it's like something worked out for him. So I'm happy for him.
I got a good idea for by the way for Fanatics, because I went to a Tigers game and talking about baseball. I went to a Tigers game. You actually went to a Tigers game a week ago, last week, right?
Yeah, I went and saw the Cubs versus the Tigers.
Yeah, and then I went Sunday or Saturday. It was Astros versus Tigers, and it was my first Haven's first MLB game ever. So it was kind of fun. We rode the
Where did you
Ferris.
sit?
We actually were in suites. Kaylee got some suites for us. I don't know how
Okay.
she got them, but we got suites tickets.
Where
And
like where were they? Because I'm not very familiar with Comerica. I've been very fortunate. I've had like really good
yeah,
seats, and so I've only ever sat in like one general area.
it's the third base side. It
Okay.
was kind of between, where you sat in the padded seats, right
Mhm.
above you.
Perfect.
That's where we were. But you guys were on the first base line though, I think, right?
We were like more so behind home plate.
Okay, yeah, we were more on the third base side. Um, but yeah, so we go.
Yeah, I guess no, I guess technically speaking, we would have been skewed towards first base line because you could look directly out at left field in the building.
Yeah,
So even though like the picture by me just shifting like this, it looks like I'm hardcore on the first base line.
Yeah,
I was closer to like
like an
home,
ankle.
but I guess it doesn't matter. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So if you just the kitty corner there, I I saw Justin Verlander versus Miguel Cabrera last at bat, and these guys are like greats for Detroit Tigers, right?
Yeah.
Detroit fan base love them. How this is kind of like where I was thinking about Fanatics. How cool would it be to give out some memorabilia or like even, and I brought this up to you, like a Tops Now card of them two, but not just like you could buy it online. They have that thing ready for everyone after the game. Like they take the pictures, have it ready. I don't know. It would be tough to do, but the people that went there, they have an option to get that Tops Now card of the last at bat.
Dude, I think that would be absolutely awesome. Now, let me ask you this. You got to see, like, did you understand what you were witnessing?
Yes. I also saw Miguel Cabrera pass Gary Sheffield because he hit a home run. And he hasn't hit a home run in like a year. So he hit 510 also.
So I pulled up the news article. So our first game, we are not even officially living in Michigan.
Yeah.
And this is where our life was so crazy at the time. And I have so much appreciation and respect for what Courtney did because Kaya was born June 3rd.
Hmm.
June 5th, I was back at work. She was packing our house and having the movers move to Michigan. June 15th, 2017. So we've been in Michigan for a little over 6 years now.
Yep.
Okay. We get to see Justin Verlander start. And then my kids get to see Miguel Cabrera hit a walk-off home run. And at the time, so Steven's 15 now, he was 9. No comprehension of what he's seeing. And as I'm trying to tell him that this is arguably top 5 pitcher and
Yep.
top 5 hitter of my generation, and you're seeing him live in action right now.
Yep. Yeah. And 9 years or 7 years ago, or whatever, Miguel Cabrera was hitting still. Like he was,
Yes.
yeah, he was like on top of his game.
But just think about this. New job, new child, new city, everything's new while seeing people like and at that time I mean I was entrenched in baseball. Like
Yes.
I was the kid who would watch baseball tonight on repeat 3 times over after watching Sports Center.
Hmm.
Peter Gammons was a god. The trade deadline was a national holiday. So like I was in baseball like that. So like I understood what was going on and I have it's completely surreal with all the other things going on in my life. And I look back and it's wild that you got to see them go head to head. The
Hmm.
slow motion Instagram video of them like giving each other the nod.
Yeah.
So slick. And to your point, if Fanatics was there or Tops or whomever and had the ability to print some exclusive, like, hey, we're going to have 500 cards for sale by the 7th inning somewhere. Like, those
Yep.
things would be that Pistons and Alk line would run Detroit sports cards for forever.
For sure. Or like you said, 500, like they know they're going to hit and pitch against each other, right? Have them like take a picture before the game with each other and like
Yeah,
sign a couple. Whew.
so cool.
That's I'm telling you that would be awesome, and that's kind of why I want to bring it up, because there is so many new ideas that could happen, and that would be amazing. Because I mean, it would have meant something to me to get one because it's Haven's first game too,
Yes.
so I would have wanted to buy some. So
So, 2 questions. 1, how was the food and drink, and did you indulge? And number 2, with incredible ideas and forward thinking business acumen that you're demonstrating, would it be fair of me to speculate that you might be in the running to be the new CEO of Leaf Trading Cards? Because
oh yeah,
because Ruben didn't do it, whoever the hell runs Panini didn't do it, Brian Gray sure as hell didn't do it. Maybe the folks over there at Leaf are like, you know what? You know who we need? We need Manuel fucking Flores in
yep.
here making it happen.
I agree. I mean, the innovation that would come from Leaf trading cards. It wouldn't be a second tier trading card if I was in charge. This would be prime. They'd be like, Leaf and then Fanatics. And then we would get
Yes.
bought out by Fanatics and I would be a billionaire. And I'd be like,
Yes.
yes, make everyone rich. But yeah, the food was great. I had a thick brat.
Okay.
I need you to appreciate that thick brat. But we have at the suite they like catered food, so it was kind of nice. I was eating cookies, popcorn. I got so full. Kaven was eating. They brought a Little Caesars pizza, and she destroyed the pizza. So it
There
was
you
fun.
go.
Yeah,
I'm glad. It's always was she able to pay attention, or was it like was she completely bored out of her mind?
she was more excited, like people watching rather than anything. She wanted when we went, she wanted to do the Ferris wheel, so I did the Ferris wheel, and then
Okay.
afterwards she's like, "Daddy, let's go watch the game." So I sat down, and I think it was more so she wanted to sit to eat. So she's my kid pretty much, but she was like watching them like the ball. She wanted to see if I could catch the ball because one almost hit us, and she was scared. And then afterwards, she's like, "Catch a ball!" Like so, she was excited on that aspect. So I don't
Did
think she understood the game. She just wanted to get a ball from the bat.
How often do you guys make your way into Detroit? Not very often, or
Maybe a couple times a year, not too much.
okay. They have like that right outside the ballpark. They've got like that dog park and that little area
Oh
right there
yeah,
is just so cool, man.
yeah, it is. I like to draw. I like to walk down the strip of like shops because I like the Nike outlet. They have other stores and stuff like that. I think there might be even a card store or a comic book store around there too.
Next time, if you get a moment, it's like $2, and I don't want to say it's pointless, but there's an awesome like train or tram that goes around that has like 4 or 5 stops, and for like $1.50 you can ride. And we
Hmm.
always do it because the girls love like to be on a train, to
Yeah.
be elevated in the air, and then the sights. Like one thing that's crazy about Detroit is, and this is weird for me. Like I go to Chicago, not one time does anybody ever stop you to talk about the architecture. You go in
Hmm.
Detroit and you're anywhere, it's like you have to pass a test to be a Detroiter because they point out buildings and say who designed it and give you the whole
Yes.
backstory. And it's been
Yes.
like that, like, it's not just once or twice, like, I swear to God, it happens every time I'm in Detroit, like, somebody, like, you wouldn't even expect you'd be like, "Oh, there's a, there's a crackhead," and they're like, "Oh, let me tell you something about this building, blah, 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 designed in this, blah, 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 blah," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Damn, Detroit
And
people are proud, bro."
they come up to you and be like, "Yeah, Dan Snyder over there is getting in that building. You got some rocks? No? All right. Well, Dan Snyder's building that building." Like they forgot that they just told me. I'm like, all right, cool.
And I think it's Dan Gilbert, not Dan Snyder.
I know. I messed up, but I doubled down too.
I like it. I recognize that, and it's like, remember "Don't Be a Menace to South Central," where it's like,
Yeah.
"Man, I'll suck your dick for a bag of cheeseburgers, man." This guy's just trying to give you, like, architecture, like, facts, like, "Man, I'll give you them architecture facts."
He's probably my tour guide.
That's awesome that you got to go to a game. The Pistons home opener this year is September or October 28th
Hmm.
against the Bulls.
You gonna go?
Oh, dude, of course. Of course, but now, like, I'm in this conundrum because the girls wear their Bulls hoodies, and they're always like, "Patrick Williams is my favorite," which is, like, endearing to me, and I really want to take them, like, I think it would be awesome to share in the experience. I think, like, all the stuff that they do at stadiums for kids is cool, but I'm also fearful that they'll be like, "Yeah, this fucking sucks," or, "Dad, I wanna run onto the court," or, "Why aren't they sharing with me?" Like, can you just imagine, like, Lala having a temper tantrum because, Cade Cunningham won't give her the ball?
Who's the most outspoken that would talk to a player?
La.
Can I borrow her when Luca comes into town?
Please do. You wanna do, like, what DeMar DeRozan's daughter did up into, like, the screaming? You get
Yes.
La going, Laz. I told you, she is the best and worst of Courtney all in one. Courtney and myself all in one.
Yeah. I need an autograph from Luca, so I need to bring my child and probably another to start screaming Luca's name for an auto.
Yeah. I
I'll
think
put my jersey on La, and it's gonna look like down to her knees to get it signed, and then I'll have to be like, "La, give it back."
well, if Steven finds out that you're taking La, he's gonna wanna go with,
Yeah.
because I feel like he's experiencing something that you get to experience from me firsthand, is he was in a fantasy football draft the other
Oh
night,
boy. Oh
and he
boy.
showed me his team, And it was a pretty solid team, but I'm like, why do you have Saquon Barkley? Like, it's my understanding that he's not playing, and he was like the defeat on his face when he recognized. I'm like, I'm pretty sure. So credit to him, he was able to trade Saquon for Robinson, Bijan Robinson's. Like how he
Oh,
managed that,
really?
like he finessed the shit out of somebody, dude. But
I like Barkley.
yeah, but he's
You don't
like,
like Barkley?
no, is he playing though?
It's Jonathan Taylor that's not playing.
Yeah, but I thought Saquon, like,
No, he signed his contract. He
did he end
actually
up
signed
signing?
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
but either way, I thought it was like a nice deal, but
Look at him. Look at Steve getting beat. I think Bijan's gonna be better.
yeah. But here's the thing, I told Steven because he's like, oh, what do you think about this? And I'm like, dude, I don't fucking care about fantasy football because all it's gonna say is I have to listen now for the next 200 days. Is like I should have started so and so. So and so is on the bench. Can you believe they threw on third down when they could have? Like it's the same dumb, stupid. Like you could insert any conversation about fantasy football in any group of dudes, and it's the same thing. Nothing unique. And then 98% of these people are in free leagues with like no skin in the game. Like nothing. Like
Dude,
I saw this thing. In fairness to you, I saw this thing where like these people have like if you lose, some of the punishments are absolutely spectacular, and like I would that would bring me out of retirement to play fantasy football, or like an actual buy-in where like if you lose, it's gonna hurt so bad.
I saw it was a joke one, of course. It said the first place has to pregnate a woman, the last place has to take care of the child. I was like, what is this?
That one was awesome.
Yeah. So speaking of pregnating people, let's get into our thickest of the week, Jeremy.
Okay, I'm gonna be surprised. Let's go.
All right.
Here,
So
let me thickest of the week.
so soon we should have like a little, we do thickest of the week and it pops into like a little intro of it. We should
Can I
do
show
that.
you something real quick? I don't think most people do it because most people go out of the way to make it look like, because they want to show off.
Yeah.
We're not messing around over here at Reckless Studios.
Ooh, look at that. So I'm gonna buy one and mine will be on the way so I don't sound like crap.
Everybody makes it like they make sure that it's like in their face, so like they're
Yeah.
constantly having like a fucking meat hitting them in the mouth.
Yeah.
Like who cares, dude? You have
Well,
a
if it's
microphone. You sound fine. I wouldn't get a microphone. I would spite the man. And to be clear, this isn't my microphone. Courtney got it for Dangerous Games, and I just so happened to use it.
well, I know what you mean because when I had it at the live show at the National, I was like gripping it like this and had it like close to my mouth, and I had to catch myself a couple times. Like, what am I doing?
Just talking in the microphone, talking hobby. I have a microphone and I need to show it off.
Before we get into the thickest of the week, double coverage. Dama and Sauce listened to our last podcast, and they are down to jump on the show, and they want to do a live stream of the 999 with us. So they want us four to all be on a stream doing it because they said it's going to be great content.
Can you make it happen on Monday?
Like them coming on the show or the 999?
The 999. We're running out of baseball time.
You want me to do it on a Monday?
Well, Monday's a holiday.
I'm talking about for Tuesday. If I got to recover.
Okay, so are we going to do it Sunday night after Shipshawana?
Dude, we got to prepare for this.
I don't have to prepare. Like, there is no preparing. If you think that I'm going to, like, this Tuesday eat 6 hot dogs and drink 7 beers, and then 2 days later eat 7 hot dogs and drink 8 beers and work my way up to it, I'm not trying to die over some content. You know what I mean? What I will do is I will give it the college effort. I feel confident that if I get the perfect kind of drunk, I might be able to make it happen. If I get too drunk, I'm going to pass out or I'm going to do something stupid.
Did you see us on the screen just both like knocked out?
And here's the thing. I don't mess with hard liquor. And like, I don't very rarely, I've only ever been like truly drunk a handful of times in my life. Like I've been, buzzed. But when I get a little buzzed, the only thing I do is like, I feel like I need to recapture my youth. So I always feel like it's necessary to do something like youthful. So like one time, it has nothing to do with cards. I wanted to prove that I was still young. So I dove out of a moving car at 40 miles an hour.
That's so random.
I am so lucky. Like, it makes me like, when you hear something and it makes your body go like, I'm so lucky that like my face didn't smack off the concrete and bust my teeth. I'm lucky, like a little road rash is all I had. I'm so fortunate. One of the dumbest things I've ever done.
Well, there's one that tops it, but we talked about that story already.
Yeah. Either way, but here's the thing. I'm not going to train for this thing. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to try to drink
Well,
9 beers and have 9 hot dogs.
well, we have to do a good time because Dama and Saw said if they do it, it's going to be even hilarious because it's morning time for them right now. So it, it's pretty much their breakfast. So they have the whole day ahead of them. We go to sleep.
So are we just like, are we going to scratch the baseball game? Or are we going to record a baseball game
I
and
have
then just
no
like
idea.
simulcast it?
I have no idea. They want to do it, and they were pumped about it. They want to join the thick.
So
That
like
was
in my mind, it becomes extremely more difficult if I just have to sit here in front of a computer with like and stare at your 3 faces. Like I actually thought like that we would like the kids would be playing. It would be more of like a
well, I could come sit on
barbecue
that.
party atmosphere. But if we have to just sit here and drink, like man, that becomes that much more difficult.
Well,
All
no,
of a
no, I could
sudden,
go to your house and sit on that casting couch with you, and they could be tuned in together in Australia. It's like worlds combined together. We're
okay,
uniting one
like
another.
a simulcast. We break the internet, just fucking 4 fat people doing just disgusting things.
Exactly. All right, so that I did bring up the reason why I brought up double coverage is because they sent me this thickest week. They actually, if you go to their video they just posted, they were talking about this and said that we needed it as a thickest of the week. So, Jeremy,
Thickest of the week.
do you watch? And I know this is a rhetorical question for you.
Hurry,
Um,
hurry.
F1, you like F1, right?
Yep.
All right, I do too. Well, do you know who Danny Rick is?
Daniel Ricciardo.
There you
Yes.
go.
The Aussie.
Yes, the stallion. Well, look at this book and read it to me. Overtake my heart. Thick Rick. Thick. Rick races for
Son of a
love.
bitch.
Book number 1 of 69
Let's go.
in the Daniel Ricciardo romance series.
Can you make it bigger so I can read it?
I don't know if I can make it.
Please. Please
All
make
right.
it bigger so I can read.
Well, hold on. Let me see. Is it? Oh, no. Does it work? No. Oh, that's you. No, I don't know if I can make it bigger. I'll read it to you.
All right. No. I hold it right there. Don't do anything.
Okay, I got it.
All right. Hold on. I'm going to hold the mic close to my mouth.
You're going to ASMR it?
Rev up your engines for a sizzling, high-octane romance. Overtake My Heart will take you on a heart-stopping ride filled with passion, speed, and heartbreak. Follow Emily, a smart and independent woman, as she navigates the thrilling and glamorous world of Formula One racing, entangles with the irresistible, charming playboy, Daniel Ricciardo. Will Emily's love be enough to tame the notorious heartbreaker? Will Daniel risk his career and reputation for the woman who's captured his heart? Buckle up for a love story that's unpredictable and exhilarating as the race itself. You'll be on the edge of your seat until the very last page.
Look at this.
That motherfucker doesn't look like that. It doesn't even look like that. Come on now.
Look
Come
at the
on. I
Red
like
Bull
Danny
car.
Rick. He seems like he'd be a cool dude to hang out with, but that dude's got a schnoz and he doesn't have abs like that.
Look at the car. Look.
Yes. He's like a fucking, what is it, like a centaur or whatever? Like half horse, half. It's like half Australian, half Formula One racing car. He's not even Red Bull. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Oh, right here's the author. Look.
Okay, what have we got? I need a driver. Oh my goodness. All right. Hold on. Her, like, legitimately, it says her name is Anita Driver.
Yeah.
Anita Driver, PhD, is a Formula One enthusiast who attended every Spanish Grand Prix since 1991. She first learned to love cars when she was struck by one at the age of 9. Get the fuck out. I can't do it. I cannot do it. You know what the first time I got hit by a car, you know what I'm thinking? Fuck cars, man.
All right. Well,
I love cars.
I think this is gonna
She
be
has
our.
lost her damn mind.
This is the best to think of the thing.
What
This
the
might
hell's
be up
going
there.
on in the world? Because we've got John basketball card guy, we got thick sharks, we've got everybody's stealing it, dude. Everybody is stealing it.
We this might be up there with Cocaine Bear for me. We might have to read pages on it. We might have to buy this book and read pages.
Dude, can we do that?
Yeah,
Like with every episode, like, all right, like the next segment, chapter 4, overtake my heart.
oh, that's perfect. So I do want to say thank you,
What's
Double.
it called? I forget what it's called. When you're like right behind somebody, you in F1, the overtake. You have
DRS?
yeah. It's like,
Drag?
He grabbed her, and kissed the nape of her neck, and let her know that he's gonna give her the DRS.
You love that mic. I don't want to hear you say something about that mic.
you have to do it if we're gonna read literotica, you know,
And then you
soft
gotta tap.
porn.
Tap the mic as you do it.
You know, I mean, Daniel Ricciardo is that big. Woo. Woo.
So
I need a driver. That is awesome. What's your author name gonna be? So we gotta put some thought into that. I need a driver. She got hit by a car and said, I need a driver.
we need to clip that. We need to clip you were trying to read that.
Trying, I crushed it.
Now when it said I hit a car, you didn't finish the thing.
Oh no. I the description of the book I crushed.
Yeah.
Her self-written biography. I mean, put them together. Clip it. Like if we ever clip anything, that would be it to clip.
Okay.
Fucking, she got hit by a car.
Oh, is it really going to be 69 books?
I hope so. And I mean, if she changed her, if we're operating in the spirit of honesty and integrity, and her whole shtick is at 9, she got clipped by a what kind of cars do they even have over there? Whatever, like a Mazda. I don't know. She gets clipped by a Mazda, she's broken leg. She's in a wheelchair, and she's like, "I love cars, Dad."
All I could think about when you said cars over there, I thought of a Vespa.
Yes, there you go.
She got hit by a Vespa.
Man,
Oh, I'm sweating. Oh, that was good.
I wonder. Do you think there's people over there that fantasize about kangaroos?
Probably.
You know how like there's people with like mermaid fetishes.
Yeah.
Like jack yoked kangaroo in the backyard throwing blows.
Well, I mean,
half roo, manaroo.
Yeah, Manaroo. Can you see Domlin sauce like a Manaroos? The Manaroos.
The manaroos.
That should be their mascot.
Yes, half roo, half man, 150% testosterone.
Oh, I love this show.
I don't even want to talk about cards anymore. I just want to talk about porn books and kangaroos.
Oh, I think that I want the people that listen. I know there's a couple of you that are going to listen to this right when it drops. I need some DMs on what you think of our thickest.
You got to clip that, man. And if you can't, at the minimum, man, you have to timestamp it and hit Courtney up first thing in the morning and say, "Please, Courtney, for the love of God, if there is anything." And that's going to be the second. You know, we're doing the Cocaine Bear. Drop 1 for the merch. Drop 2's got to be Manaroos.
Sauce and Dom's face.
Manny's going to be like the bottom of a kangaroo, and I'm going to have the head of a kangaroo and the legs or something like that. We're going to make it happen. I need a driver.
Oh, I can't breathe. Jeremy, what do you want the people to do?
I mean, we're not going to talk about One Piece just dropped. I'm not ready to get the hell out of here. Why you cut me out?
Well, I didn't know. I know we want to keep it around an hour. So I was like, all right, we can talk about it.
I promised you one thing. Let's at least address like One Piece. One Piece came out this week. And you are the TCG guy of the group, even though I buy way more TCG cards and have had way more black labels. But you're the TCG guy.
I bought cases and cases. So OPO 5 came out, Gear 5. Big hit is the manga of Luffy, Gear 5, which something that happened if you're caught up on One Piece. I'm not. I'm only on like episode 250, and there's like I said, 1,000 episodes. I'm in year like 2002, so
Oh wow.
I got a while to catch up. But this card raw is going for 1K. So the cases when you were first able to pre-order them are around 700, six to $800. So you hit that one card. I know it's really hard to hit, but you hit it, you're making some bread if you grade it and you're first to grade. And I think that's where Brandon was talking about, because if you hit that card and grade it, if it's raw at 1,000, you get a black label on that bad boy.
Ooh-wee.
From a couple G's. So, but yeah, I do regret I didn't buy any cases. I do regret not buying it. Like I told you before, yes, I want to buy the case. I can afford the case. The grading fees, like you brought up in a little bit, could get really pricey. And that's what kind of put me in a hole that I'm in. So
I had a little bit of FOMO. I legitimately like ripping those cards just because they're all like awesome looking. The art's cool, the texture, and because I'm a dumbass and I don't know quite what's what just yet. Like every pack is like awesome. So even when you're done ripping it, you're still like, all right, now the fun begins. What did I pull anything? Are these worth anything? And it's usually like the ones that you think are worth something
yep.
aren't, and the one that you didn't think is worth anything. But I was very fortunate. I had the opportunity to buy a bunch of SRs, and I did. And so I look forward to having those and getting those grading because I
Was
might
that
have.
from Brandon?
You had the opportunity to buy them, you
No.
passed on them, and I purchased them.
He texted me and he said, if you're so you don't complain and cry like a baby, I'm going to ask you first. And I was like, you piece of work. And he's like, I'm going to ask you first, and then it's going to Jeremy. So
He did. He asked me, and he said, I asked him how much, and he's like, I can send you a breakdown. I'm like, no, I trust you. Deal. And then he's like, just so you know, I asked Manny first because I didn't want to hear him complain.
I know he never told me a price though, so I don't want to hear it.
So you said no, even if he would have been like $20.
I didn't say no.
Oh,
I didn't. I just didn't.
you didn't respond.
Let's see.
So you said no without saying no anything.
I said, he said, offering you before Jeremy, so I don't hear that I didn't. I said, you like Jeremy more. I get it. And he said, he was like joking, said, you're out of cards. I thought, I can't keep up with you. And I was like, I know you don't care because you hate me. And then boom. He sent it.
Yeah,
I never
he's
said
I'm
no.
not putting up with this shit. I'm done. I'll
Yeah.
go deal with the kid.
Yeah. So I was just messing with him. I figured you were gonna get it anyway.
No, it's I mean, it's cool. And like I said, I'm banking on like I could end up taking a super bath if the golden thing doesn't work out because I sent like 40 cards there. So like I'm on the hook for like $800-900. So
Yeah,
I'm banking on
imagine that, but you're paying up front. That's where I was like,
yeah.
after you bought the case.
No, dude, I get it. I'm just giving you shit. I just thought it was like funny how like we're all so like closely connected and intertwined and stuff. But
Yeah. All I know is hopefully Brandon's all right now with the hurricane and all
well,
of
yeah,
his.
now like that's the kicker is like people all over. I saw like Leighton yesterday was already saying like, hey, packages are already being delayed. So
Mhm.
maybe my like being first to market might not happen because my shit's gonna be swept away in the, you know, the storm.
Yeah,
And
you're
I
right.
hope, everybody down in Florida and Louisiana or wherever the hell this thing's gonna come through are safe. 504.
For sure. I mean, I hope his paintings or drawings are safe. That dude probably better put those off his ground where he had them.
Yeah, dude, that's wild. But looking forward to seeing everybody in Shipshewana. Make sure you come out and say hi. I feel like I'm gonna have like more mid to high end cards, so there's gonna be like less volume. So I think I'm gonna be able to relax and enjoy the show a little bit more. I've never walked the show, and I might actually walk it this weekend. So I'm looking forward to hanging out with Manny and planning 9 hot dogs, 9 beers, and 9 Manaroos.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I don't have any cards. I'm actually going there to spend a little bit of money, so I'm gonna be walking with you.
ooh,
So,
Manaroos,
but I might not go to trade night. I might just be going to the show. I'll let you know.
Manaroos,
So,
Manaroos.
Hannah Roots.
Ooh. The Manaroos.
You're an idiot.
So thank you, everybody. Make sure you continue to like, subscribe, and smash that button. You know what I mean?
Smash it, smash it, smash it.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope you guys enjoyed your hobby release because
Right on
we
your
sure did.
back.
We're back. We're back in action.
He's like, back, back. Did you hear how John was like, thick, 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 too thick?
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, John's the best.
Too thick.
So with that, we will be back shortly, and we will be. I can't with you. And have a good one. See ya.